I'm back right here with another shoe, and this is a Lebron 13. The reason I'm doing this, even though this shoe is old, is because I want to clarify people on this shoe and its values it gives to people who play outdoors. Alright, let's just get right into it. Starting off with traction. Traction is these in the hex pods has I guess you can say lines that go different directions, and it has one in the back, but behind, like in the further back, it has like miniature triangles and traction in these shoes. Even with dust, I didn't have to wipe, and it was gripping the floor good. I also play in this shed, and in the shed it's super dusty, and even in the shed I never had to wipe to catch traction in these shoes, so that was really good. But the only problem with these is the durability. Durability in this shoe is really bad for outdoors. And I know people said even though the traction wears out, you still got these like hex zoom units as traction because they protrude out, and that's a problem. Even though they protrude out, the rubber wastes really quick, and the problem with them protruding out, once the rubber wastes out on these hex pods, you will hit the zoom units in the hex pods. And I know you guys are probably saying like, oh well, you didn't get the XDR version. Well, I had the XDR previously, and that one got worn out under a month, or under like 2 weeks and a half. I wish I still had them, but I threw them away. But that happened. I played in them, and the zoom units where the hexes are, it wasted and hit the zoom unit, and the zoom units pop. So durability is really horrible in this shoe. I don't know why, but even though it seems good, maybe it's because of the rubbers. The rubber's hard, but it's I think it's super shallow or something. That's why it wears out really quickly. So outdoors, durability is bad. Let's move on to cushion. Cushion is a full length pylon throughout the shoe, and I would say with hex zoom units in the bottom. They're bottom loaded. You have one right here and right here, and these are just for like aesthetic purposes. Oh, you also have one back here. It's only these three that have zoom units, and these are just for the two in the front are for aesthetic purposes. And then we have a big one in the back. Cushion in this shoe is pretty good. The pylon is actually not that hard. It's pretty soft. Core feel, there's no core feel in this shoe, and it's also really high off the ground. But impact protection is super good in this shoe. You can feel the zoom units under your foot, even though they're bottom loaded. And this big heel zoom unit, I could kind of feel it sometimes when I would land. But impact protection is really good. After I was done playing with these shoes, my bones weren't hurting or anything from the concrete. So the cushion's really good for outdoors if you're looking for more cushion. If you're looking for more response, this isn't the shoe to go with. So yeah. Moving on to materials. Materials is like has a bunch of fuse overlays with some of this like plastic. It's almost like a mesh, but it's like fused back with a fuse on it, and it makes it really hard. And it's throughout the whole shoe. The inside is a one material. It's like a neoprene inner. It has a tongue, but it's a whole one construction, almost like a boot. I would say the material, some people don't like it, but if you're a person who needs a lot of support, this shoe is really good. Sure, the materials are hard, but the materials will definitely last you a long time outdoors. In my previous model, I fell a couple times and I did a couple toe drags, and it did not rip from the front at all. The material is built like a tank, and it will last you a long time. So for materials, you're covered. Even though they're a little hard and they're gonna take a long time to break in, you're covered because it can last a long time. If you're looking for something more soft, I wouldn't recommend these. Moving on to fit, I would say go true to size. If you're a narrow foot, go down half a size. But they run a little wide since they're Lebrons. So if you're a wide footer, you're covered here. They're not gonna squeeze your foot or anything. For me, I went true to size and they fit perfectly. They didn't fit long or too wide or nothing. So my feet were good in these shoes, super comfortable. So true to size. Just moving on to support. This is the area I want to cover. As you can see, it has a bunch of like, I guess you can call it like plastic or something right here in the back and the midfoot. Um, the support in this shoe is really good. Even though it's super hard, you have an insane amount of support. If you're looking for ankle support, I would definitely say get this shoe because the support is crazy. You can lace them up and your ankle won't move, but you'll still have the mobility since it's like open from the back. It doesn't go high up like highs. So support is good, really good in the ankle. Throughout the shoe, when you're doing cuts and everything, you don't really feel your foot slide or nothing. Support is good. Some people talk about this mid foot, I guess you can call it like fused plastic or something. Bothering them, not letting let them lace up the shoes, or like, yeah. So if these shoes don't fit you too well, I wouldn't recommend them because this fuse thing, this plastic thing does get in the way of you trying to lace up the shoes. They put this for when you're, I guess, when you're doing cuts and crosses because it'll contain your foot. It works, but if you have a super narrow foot and you try to lock these in, it's not gonna work because this plastic thing is in the way. Support's really good. Oh yeah, and another downside is the lacing in the shoe. The lacing is like bad. I don't like the way it's laced. Lacing these shoes is really hard because you have to pull on it and you have to keep pulling on these strings to get them tight. Like it takes forever to lace these up. But once you tie them up, the laces don't slip. But just lacing in these is a hassle. So overall thoughts on this shoe, I would say I wouldn't recommend them, even though everything in the shoe is built like a tank, crazy. It will last you a really long time, and if you need support, this is a good shoe. You're covered on cushion. Upon impact, you're gonna feel good and everything. But the only downside, the super downside on this is that the rubber here is really bad. Within a couple weeks, you will probably wear out through the rubber and hit the zoom units, and then those zoom units will pop and the shoe will be no good. So I wouldn't recommend these shoes because of the rubber. That's the only downside. If they made the rubber a little thicker and maybe more hard, this shoe would have been a really good shoe for outdoors. But everything else performs really good for outdoors. It's just the rubber compound in the bottom that won't last you a long time. And when you play outdoors, you're looking for durability, and this shoe does not have you covered in durability in the bottom. So if you can get the shoe really cheaply, which they're on sale a lot now, I would say get them. I would say get them if they're below like $50. But other than that, if you're paying more, I wouldn't say you should get them because the rubber won't last you a very long time. As you can see, it's already wearing out. And this is from not that long, only a couple games, and like under like a week or like under a couple weeks. So this shoe's not good for outdoors. And it is not only this pair. I had a previous pair, like I was telling you guys, that didn't last a long time. So the rubber in this shoe is pretty bad. So I would not recommend it for outdoors. This was my review on the Lebron Soldier. The LeBron Soldier, what am I saying? The LeBron 13. And yeah, thank you guys.